Today we're looking for autumn. Hopefully. Hi everyone, it's Monday afternoon and we're in search of autumn. So you'll have seen from the earlier footage that I'm out at Horton. We've just passed Horton Tower and I'm heading into Holt Forest and Holt Wood in search of autumn colours, and it is an absolutely glorious day. And I hope you're going to join me. It's going to be a great walk and I hope we're going to see lots of colours, although it is mid-November and we've had some winds. So we'll see. Let's crack on and see what we can find. Follow me. Yes, time has slipped away from me today, so we are out later than usual. I decided to have lunch at home and then come out after lunch. But the sun is absolutely amazing. And it's cold, mind you. I don't think it's freezing, but it's not far above freezing. But this sun is so clear and the sky so blue. So, yes, I am in Holt Wood and Holt Forest today for an afternoon walk. Shorter one maybe than usual, We have been here before. In fact, probably almost a year ago. I remember coming and filming autumn before, and we found some really lovely colours. And Holt Wood is a very ancient woodland with some lovely old trees. Now this is a slightly different route, but we will be going through Holt Wood and those ancient woodlands. But I thought we would do a bigger circuit this time. This is partially forested, if that's the right word. Well, it's forestry, but conifer is what I mean. Partly conifer, this part, rather than mixed woodland. I thought we would see what we could find. And it is, as I say, absolutely glorious day. So look at these. Some chunky trees. So I've actually got to correct myself. This part is actually called Ferndown Forest. I don't think I ever realised that. So it's Ferndown Forest at the moment, then Holt Forest, and then probably Holt Wood on the way back. So it's actually quite chilly in the woods, or forest, Ferndown Forest, simply because we're in the shade most of the time. It's nice to get a bit of sun on me. Which seems a bit unwise in some ways, simply because it's absolutely glorious day with some amazingly clear sunshine and blue skies, and I've come into the dark woods. Ah well, I always like these woods though. They are amazing. Just surrounded by wonderful trees, and admitted they're conifers at the moment, but just being in the woodlands I think is amazing. I should have done something to do with wood as my life career, because I have definitely got an affinity with trees and wood generally. There's a nice big lake here, or pond, just off the end of Ferndown Forest. Can't access it unfortunately because I think it is private land, I believe. It is a shame. Well, that was a bit of a fight to get through that part. A couple of giant trees that had collapsed, and I had to battle my way through it. And I'm not quite back on a proper path yet. Still a fair bit of undergrowth here. But yeah, it was a hard part to get through. It actually kind of sums up my summer in some ways this year. That's been a bit of a battle to get through that. If you follow me, you'll know that my health has not been great this summer. I had several viruses and long COVID, and it's kind of kept me out of action for a couple of months back in the summer when I couldn't do any videos or anything like that. And yeah, it was a kind of a bit of a battle to get through that, really. But recently I've been doing a bit of thinking again, as I do. I have a life plan. Well, that's what I call it. It's actually a kind of plan of, well, my life, I suppose, but it's a plan of things I want to achieve, maybe during the coming year, backpacking trips or whatever. And I mean, I don't make New Year's resolutions. I don't think they really work, but I do have a kind of rolling plan of things I want to achieve specifically, but more, it's probably about the kind of person I want to be. I think that's more important, really. And yes, strange, really. You might think that having been on this earth for 77 years, I kind of might have things sussed by now. But that is far from the truth. I don't know if you ever get it sussed, to be honest. I mean, I've been a Christian for 50 plus years, nearly 60 now, late teens. I gave my life to Christ, and I've been a Christian ever since. And you'd think that some 60 years later, I'd probably have that all sussed as well. But I haven't. I think it's one of the things, as you get older, you realise you actually know virtually nothing. Despite all the years you've been on this earth, there is so much that you just don't know and don't understand. Anyway, yes, I've been doing a lot of thinking, updating my life plan, reviewing it, seeing how I've done, how I've got to, where I've got to, where I want to go to. But one of the things I've been thinking about this last week or two is social media, because I have a social media presence. I've been on social media really for, well, ever since the Dorset Rambler came into inception. So that's 25 years. Started my Dorset Rambler blog. It was a written blog, the dorsetrambler.com, which still exists and is still going. Although I don't post much on it now. I've transferred, of course, to the video log. And I've been doing this now for 2 years. But both mean I kind of have to retain a social media presence. But I've actually got a battle with social media. Well, maybe that's too strong. Bit of a dichotomy, a contradiction or conflict, if you like, because I'm not big on social media. By kind of modern standards, although I'm pretty sure if I actually analysed the time I spend on social media, I suspect it would add up to a lot more than I think. But I have this kind of conflict, because to me social media is one of those things that's got a lot of potential for good in linking people together, especially people who can't get out much, who can maybe keep in touch with more remote people or people that are able to get out, and they can keep in touch with all of that. But sadly, it's got so much negative stuff in there. I mean, just the fake news that goes on social media, I think is just it's incredible. I think the amount of it there is out there that's totally misleading and downright lies. And I think it's fine. You kind of think, yeah, you know about these things, so you can kind of dismiss them because we're all aware of it. But I don't think it's as simple as that. I think personally that it has a subliminal effect. Well, that's what I find. because there's so much fake news on there, I kind of don't trust anything I read or hear. It's kind of funny because life has a foundation of truth, really. But to me, the whole foundation of truth is being shaken. The foundation's being shaken because there is so much fake news and that you don't kind of trust anymore. But I think it's subliminal. I think it's almost, you don't know it, but it's there. And even if you're wise enough to be aware of it, it still affects you inside. And I think that is one of the extreme negatives of social media. And it's not just that, it's the time wasting side of it. Obviously, every moment you spend on social media is something you could be doing something far more useful and beneficial, and something more meaningful. And that would be a whole new subject to talk about, what's meaningful. But it's time wasted, and it sucks you in somehow. It's one of those things that sucks you in, and it has very negative side to it because your attention span, I think, reduces. You kind of, everybody who's on social media probably looks for the dopamine hit, that kind of thing, the instant gratification, that kind of thing. And it's all subliminal, I think, gets inside you. And for me, that's very negative. And I want to cut my social media time down a lot, but it's really hard to do it. And I don't necessarily include YouTube in that. I think YouTube is on the perimeter of social media for me. But that's just as time consuming in many ways when you start scrolling through videos. But it's not quite as bad as maybe the social media like Facebook and Instagram and these kind of things. Anyway, so I've been doing a lot of thinking around that and trying to find ways that I can cut down my time on social media. And it's kind of contradictory in a sense because I post on social media as part of my YouTube and the Dorset Rambler and my walks. They go up on social media as well. And so I kind of feel guilty that I want to come off of social media and spend less time on it. But equally, I'm posting stuff on there and encouraging other people maybe to get on there. So it's all very conflicting, yes, in me. So that's one of the things I've been looking at over the last week or two, and trying to work out what the answer is to this conflict. Do you stay on social media? Do you come off completely and shut the whole thing down? Do you have a detox time? It's hard to know. And as I say, I don't think I'm a big social media person, but I kind of want to cut down what I do. I want to cut down. I want to spend my time on meaningful things, and that's not social media. Anyway, that's what I've been thinking about over the last couple of weeks. I could expand on this a lot because there are things that I'm kind of learning and maybe gaining a bit more wisdom as I think about them and on my life plan in general. But I just know that I want to spend less time on consuming junk. Maybe. I don't know if that's the right expression. And more time on things that are meaningful and that will bless other people, hopefully. And more time just sitting on logs in the middle of the woods like this, with no media present, no electronics, although I've got my camera in front of me, but you know what I mean. Just sitting in the woods and living a more simpler existence. So that's where I'm heading, I hope, and that's part of the thrust of my life plan. Spend time wisely, less time consuming stuff which actually, when you analyze it, doesn't in the least bit benefit you, and you would not be worse off had you not seen it or read it. Less time consuming that and more time doing more creative and meaningful things. So yes, maybe I'll talk more about that as I kind of start to develop thoughts and ideas. But I think a lot of the modern life stuff leads us down a path which is not generally beneficial, and there is a far better path that we could all take, or certainly that I could take, if we can work out how to do it. Anyway, that was just something I had on my mind, so I thought I would share it, and I will continue thinking about these things and figure out if there's a way of living in the 21st century but living a more simple, basic life like we used to. Well, I'm definitely off-roading now. I'm taking to heart that adage, we make the road by walking. Ow! That's what I'm doing. I'm kind of skirting around the edge of Ferndown Forest, is it? Or Holt Forest now, I'm not quite sure whether I've crossed from one to the other or not just yet. We're getting a bit of colour in here, little pockets. Needs the sun actually to pick it out and bring out the colours properly. So these woods are very confusing. I'm actually walking at the moment on the edge of Queen's Copse. But yeah, the names are weird. I think the whole thing is probably known as Holt Wood and Holt Forest, Queen's Copse, Ferndown Forest, I think is kind of separate bits of Holt Wood. It's very confusing, but on the Ordnance Survey map, Holt Wood is in bigger letters. So I'm not quite sure how that works. You can see it's a lovely old woods. Another tree down there, look. All covered in lichen and moss. But I'm on a path that runs round the edge of the woods, which is what I was planning to do. I've actually realised it's actually gone 3 o'clock already. That time whizzed past. That's a magnificent tree. That's pretty amazing. I was actually hoping I would see lots of fungi, but I've not seen much so far. And look at this one. That's another magnificent tree. Come down, but if you look up there, there is foliage on there still. And over here, this limb here, both these limbs here have got foliage on, despite the fact that this poor chap is laying on his side. Isn't creation wonderful? Never ceases to amaze me. Nice colours. These are such beautiful old woods. Another awesome tree, and the sunlight's not catching it. That would really bring it alive. Tell you what, this is a proper autumn walk, this is. It's that real freshness in the air. It's only a couple of degrees above freezing, I think. So it's got that real autumn coldness. This complete carpet of leaves crunching underfoot. The light fading. It's the kind of day that makes you feel like you kind of want to head back now to your little thatch cottage with a blazing log fire and a nice cup of warming hot chocolate, and sit and have a little doze. Kind of picture book. Old English dream kind of thing. Can't do that because I don't have a thatched cottage. I can have a cup of hot chocolate though. I can imagine it in my mind and pretend I'm sat by a fire in my country cottage. Anybody else have that English idyll? I suspect it's not an idyll. It would be, cottage would probably be dark, small windows, could be damp, or certainly would have been back in the day when my ancestors lived in cottages, farm cottages, because that's what they were. They were farm workers, ag labs, as it says on the census. I think people from those days probably give their eye teeth for a house in town with nice central heating. Well, it's getting dark and disorientating now in the woods. It's quite interesting because a few years ago I had cataract operations to replace the lenses with artificial lenses in my eye, and ever since then I've found that my eyes don't react in the same way to low light. If anybody else finds this who's had cataract ops, but I find that whereas before it was fine, low light I could see and everything was fine, the new lenses, replacement lenses, don't actually react in the same way as the natural lens, and so it's quite disorientating when the light fades. But that kind of adds to the mystery of the woods, really, because these woods definitely have an air of mystery because of they're old and kind of tumble down in places. And I love it here, I have to say. I love just exploring and going off-piste, if you like, to see what I can find. Such a great place to come, especially in autumn. Well, we're back at it in the open again, and Horton Tower is straight ahead of us again. Can't actually see the sunset, but it's over that way by the looks, which is gone below the hill. Well, we are back at Horton Tower again now. Short walk back to the car. So I need to sign the video off at this point. So thanks so much for coming with me. I've had an absolutely amazing afternoon. It's been fantastic actually exploring the woodlands and just mooching really, and sitting on a log chatting to you guys. It's been a great day. I've loved it. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks so much for coming with me. It's been a great day. But for now, this is me, the Dorset Rambler, saying until next time.